Let's jump to this next story. We'll have a good time here. We got this from the Daily Wire. Vanity Fair published fashion feature on Sam Brinton, showcased allegedly stolen dress. I love this story. There's not this one. Where is it? Non-binary former Biden official Sam Brinton has been released without bail. The story is that there's this woman who started Google searching Sam Brinton after she found that he was stealing luggage from various airports. She says that she had her luggage stolen, and sure enough, he's wearing her clothes.
Incredible.
She is a designer. I mean, the story's crazy. Take a look at this. She's Asia Kamson. Christina Pashaw says cultural appropriation is stunning and brave as long as you are non-binary. This is the stolen dress. This dude, Sam Brinton, I don't think is non-binary. All the style of Sam Brinton, Vanity Fair. Yeah, all the style that he stole. That's so amazing. That he stole luggage and then wore the clothing in a photo shoot.
Wasn't he responsible
Allegedly.
for our nuclear power in the country?
Something like that.
What are we doing?
Look, man, when you have corrupt people in government, they hire more corrupt people and the corruption expands.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the point where it's gone from corruption to degeneracy.
Yes, bingo. Exactly.
So, there you go.
I just don't know how do you
what happens when you put there's something mentally not right. I don't know if it's a personality disorder or a mental deficit.
I think this dude is a kleptomaniac.
Yep.
I think that he's not non-binary. I think his thing is he stole luggage and then wore it in a magazine.
Yep.
That's
the audacity.
It's like I think he's a kleptomaniac. He gets off on the rush of stealing and getting away with it.
And then showing it off, like keeping it like a souvenir.
Exactly.
Oh, like showing off his kill or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he's
the
a
prize.
serial attire killer.
He was in a magazine or a fashion show or something with this stolen dress. Like, that's showing it off. That's going to the highest place.
Look
wearing
at this.
the clothes
It's
and
amazing.
saying, "Look at me."
And it's allegedly, look, some lady came on Twitter and said, these are my clothes that got stolen.
Yeah, custom-made dress, she said.
Custom-made,
and we know that he has been stealing people's clothes and wearing it, so it just fits the MO.
It really does.
That's a great job there, Biden administration hiring this guy.
And it's custom-made, so you know it's
Look
pretty.
at this.
Oh my God.
Jeez, this is so ridiculous.
See, I'm grateful for stories like this because it brings me back from the brink of despair. I'm like, this is funny. Like, you got to enjoy the good times.
This person's been fired, right?
Yeah.
He got fired.
He got prosecuted too.
Yep. That's the story here from Fox News. He was released without bail. He faces theft charges in Nevada. People are telling this woman to press charges. He's flaunting.
Yeah.
He's wearing the evidence.
People like this ought to be stopped. I mean, this is the type of guy that's going to keep doing it, in my opinion.
Can we be mean to him?
Yes,
Are we allowed?
let's
he
be
is
mean.
eerie.
That's cruel. That's cruel. You can be mean without being cruel. Like saying he's a thief, has no place in business.
What about degenerate?
That's cruel.
How's
Once
that
you start
cruel?
insulting, like name calling.
Well, degenerate's not an insult.
This dude steals people's clothes from the airport. That's not degeneracy. Like,
Right,
that's weird.
I'm
I guess
saying
the
literal
behavior is
degeneracy.
degenerate.
I didn't say he was like a poo-poo face, which is an insult.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a degenerate. He is bringing degeneracy to our culture. He is degrading our culture and society. He is breaking its laws and flaunting this.
And what's worse is he does it under the guise of being non-binary, which is, I guess, trans adjacent. I don't know.
It's body armor.
So exactly, it's body armor. So he's protected in the same way that you can't criticize a child like David Hogg
He's
when he
creepy.
comes out against guns.
This dude's
You
stolen
can't-
dresses
yeah.
or body
You
armor.
can't criticize somebody who's on the spectrum. Like it's a shield that they have. You can't criticize them for doing things.
I have
like
a
that.
huge list of nasty things I could orate about this fellow. I mean, I use words for a living. I could shred this guy into oblivion with my thoughts and my words, but I will not, because I don't think it ends the culture war. I think it inflames it. So
That's fair, but
I
at some point,
think
these people should be laughed into oblivion. I'll go down the Matt Walsh line of thinking
Yeah.
here. I mean, like, really, these people should be in no positions of power, and anyone that has this type of degenerate behavior should not even be considered for any job ever again. These people are crazy.
He's stealing stuff.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
criminal.
He's a criminal.
I believe
like
in laughing at people mercilessly, and that's how you get power over them. And then when they call you like a bigot, you say your words have no power here, and then they just don't know what to do because their words are their weapons.
They hiss. They go.
yeah, they don't know what to do.
Yeah. Then they get pushed back by the force of will.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this
and
guy.
then they indict Trump. You just
Right. This is the problem, is that one side is constantly being like, well, let's tolerate it. And the other side saying, we will burn it all down. And that means there is a net negative flow. Politics only flows to the left. It's the way I've always described it. If a right-wing individual stands next to a left-wing individual, everyone says that left-wing guy's a right-wing guy, or the left does. The right won't call the left winger right wing, but the left will call the left winger right wing.
Right.
It all flows in one direction. The left will show up with crowbars, baseball bats, and Molotov cocktails, and the right will say, slow down there, Democrats.
You think that's because when we start politics, and it becomes, that is the conservative benchmark for reality is our Constitution now, and it flows towards change, which is the left?
I think, yeah, because the conservatives are saying, we're going to hold our ground here. And the progressives are saying, we're going to drag you over here. If your entire mission is to just stay in one place, well, then the person that's trying to drag you, if they take you even an inch, well, then they're winning.
You could be.
You're not ever trying to take it back the other direction. The conservatives aren't.
The Overton window shifted so much. You could be a card-carrying communist who's pro-Ukraine and whatever. But if you say, I think that you shouldn't be able to kill babies after 30 weeks, you're right wing.
Right.
Like that's how
it only goes in one direction.
Yeah.
And I mean with the physical conflict too. The people on the right, save Matt Walsh, are like, well, hold on there, let's not be mean. Then the left puts pictures of kids being thrown in wood chippers because someone filmed them at the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Like, Jussie Smollett goes and fakes a hate crime. The feds show up for a garage pull rope at NASCAR. And then conservatives, libertarians, independents, this faction are just like, well, we don't want to be mean, though. And it's like, you're getting flogged over the head over and over and over again. And the only thing I'm saying is, like, maybe we should be a little bit meaner to these people and shame them for being bad.
Well, I think what's fascinating about it is, like, the left
Matt Walsh said it first, by the way.
Yes, but the left hasn't taken over the culture with sunshines and rainbows. Like, they've taken it over by shaming into oblivion anyone who didn't buy their nonsense for the past 30 years and much longer. I'm just basing it off my own life. So, like, yeah, I think that, turnabout is fair play, as they say in the UK. Like, you should be able to deliver them a little bit of their own medicine. And I think that they've demonstrated that's actually what you kind of have to do, even if it's against, like, my better instincts and my better morals. Like, if I want to not end up in a hellhole, then I kind of am forced into the Matt Walsh worldview of, like, I'm going to destroy your spirit just as you've attempted to do to me.
The struggle sessions. These
Yep.
are struggle sessions that are happening. I mean, look at the last time it happened.
Marxism 101.
Yeah.
But my concern is that the goal of that
Or Maoism.
sect is to destroy what did you say? Destroy how Matt Walsh said, if you're going to destroy my morale or whatever.
Yeah, morale.
I think that the goal of that is to destroy everyone's morale. So if you strike back by trying to destroy their morale, you're just feeding the victory for them.
No.
It's like it wants the collapse of everything so that hell can break loose.
Here's how it works. Here's how it
Yes,
works.
that's actually part of what they talk about.
You work for a company, and one day the boss says, hey, there's some controversy related to wokeness. Then the other partner at the business says, well, if we side with conservatives, then the left will destroy our building and maybe kill some of our family members. If we side with the left, the conservatives will complain on the internet. Mm-hmm. Let's side with the left on this one. That's the safe bet. That is pushing politics in one direction.
Well, that paired with ESG, and you have just a linear march towards the left.
The thing is, I can't stop people from being cowards, and I'm not going to become a villain to scare them into following me.
Scare who? What are you talking about?
These corporations that are like, well, the right doesn't do anything. They just complain. I'm not going to create I'm not going to threaten their lives.
Who said we should do that? We said we should be a bit mean to bad people.
You're saying that these cowards in corporations that are afraid of the left but they're not afraid of the right.
Uh-huh.
So that's the problem, is that's why they're siding with the left.
And
I'm
so
not gonna
that's why
become
the
something
premise
that
of the
they
conversation
fear.
was we should be a bit meaner to bad people.
Yeah.
I did not say anyone should go and throw Molotovs or anything like that. I said we shouldn't do that. Antifa is bad for doing that. And that actually erodes their support. However, it is an uphill battle, but we do need to tell the likes of Disney they're scumbags when they do the Pride family racist trash. Right. And we need to then, when we see these people at conventions, be like, you are human garbage, and then not associate with them and have them be like, why is this guy mad at me? Because you are promoting racism in our country, and I will not be nice to you because you're a bad person.
But not being nice is different than telling someone they're human garbage. Do not go to events and tell people that they're garbage. That's going to cause mass chaos. Do not do that.
I think the point is that there has to be consequences to the actions. right? And that's Tim's saying. So there has to be a consequence. Like they say, they don't want to provoke the left because they'll blow your building up, you know. But in this case, you have to. In that situation, when you see someone doing this, you have to give them you have to push back. If you don't push back, they're never going to see any.
Then
like,
what you say
it.
to them when you see the Disney executive is you say, I believe your cowardice and callow behavior warrants severance from my contracts and my business. Yeah. I will make sure that everyone I know will avoid your products and your bottom line will be eviscerated by my PR campaign. Whatever it would cost you in marketing, I will cost you 100-fold in PR damage. You say something like that.
I think economic is the way to threat. If you're going to threaten corporations, it's economically, because that's what they're afraid of. When you say the left's going to burn their building down, they're afraid of the economic loss.
It's not that.
They don't care about the building
Ian,
itself.
You generally misunderstand.
You're saying
I think we need to take a lesson from the communists on this, okay?
Ian, you can't see out, like, you need to understand the analog and not the digital. You hyper focus on one specific thing and you misunderstand the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is when you have a community meeting and the guy shows up who's been dumping feces in the river, you don't go, well, hold on, don't be mean to him, guys. We need to understand why he's polluting our water supply. You say, you out, gone. You're not welcome here anymore. We're cutting you off. And you know what? We're turning the power off to your building because you're using that power to dump feces in the river. We need to just say, ostracize bad people. They are not part of what we are doing. They are destroying it. A guy shows up and he's flinging feces at your children and you go, well, don't be mean to him. Right. No, you can be mean to him.
That's a death sentence. If someone is attempting to kill your kids by poisoning them with feces, that's a death sentence.
So what would you call it when they're trying to kidnap kids and sterilize them?
I mean...
Well, that we tolerate. We got to be nice to these
kids
people.
Is a
Matt
felony.
Walsh is right.
If they're kidnapping children, it's a felony. I don't know what to tell you. That whether they sterilize their kids
when they have adult performers perform for children in Texas and the cops say, don't look at me, I'm not going to do anything about it. And you're saying, well, don't be mean to these people. Nah, Matt Walsh is right. We gotta be.
I said, don't be cruel. You should be mean to those people.
What?
You should embarrass and humiliate them, but not be cruel.
How is that not cruel?
Well, I mean, sometimes the nicest thing you can do for someone is to humiliate them.
Perhaps. Fine. Whatever. My point is, the people who are committing clear crimes and the cowardice in the police who refuse to do anything, those cops should be shamed. That's why I've been very much like, fine, whatever, abolish the police. Because these cops I watch in Texas, they're like, well, we know there are adult performers in that building with children, and we're not doing anything about it. It's like, what, dude? It's already illegal.
I love Ian's perspective because it's clear that he's leaning in towards his better nature. I have attempted to do that my entire life, for the record, Ian. I am now in Tim and Matt Walsh's camp entirely. I think that you have to, you can't just put your foot in the ground and draw a line. You actually have to go on the offensive, and I don't mean violently or anything like that ever. I mean, you have to be on the offensive in terms of changing the culture, letting them know there is a line that you cannot cross. You have crossed it, so now I have to push you back, and metaphorically, past that line, because you're too far. You've gone too far already.
And do what the left does. When they show up to your coffee shop, you say, I'm sorry, you can leave. They do it to cops all day, every day. No, you can't come in here. We're not going to serve you. And we're all like, oh, well, we wouldn't do that. Well, you know what? Maybe the parallel economy is the way it's got to go, because they're weaponizing this against you while you try and be tolerant and play nice.
Exactly.
So if they show up to your gas station, to your oil change shop or whatever, auto shop, you say, what did you need? You needed your brakes? Not for you. Nope, you can leave.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
And I think if you do that, it's sad. But if you do that and people start to realize the trajectory that we're on, maybe then they will realize, look, there is actually a price to be paid for dividing this country based on ideological lines. And if they don't want to go down that path, they also have a choice to make. Can we leave the kids alone or not? Because if they do, I think you'll see a return to the much more, Christian conservative type mantra. But at this point, they've gotten so deranged that you're going to force what are normally very calm people into taking a much more vitriolic perspective and stance.
I believe in fighting fire with fire when it comes to this. I want to tell you a little bit about some communists. So in the communists over in Europe during the Second World War, they released a message to the American communists saying if any dissenter becomes particularly annoying, you need to label them a Nazi, a fascist, or an anti-Semite. Then fast forward 1947, or wait, no, 47, 37, 47, I think, yeah. Walt Disney has to go before the board, and goes before Congress, and he tells them about the communist infiltration of Hollywood. and like how this is really bad, and he goes in depth, and the communists are like really mad at him, and they're like, all right, we're going to destroy you from the inside out, we're going to taint your legacy, we're coming for you, is essentially what they did. And if you think about today what Walt Disney's company looks like, it is infiltrated with communists and filth and disgusting stuff. And if you also think about tainting him, they went on to call him an anti-Semite, and that kind of faded into history as truth. Yeah. But there's nothing really that you can find his company actually made for propaganda films against the Nazis. So I believe in, like, this is their tactics. Is they gained power by calling everybody a fascist, everybody a Nazi, everybody an anti-Semite, and sometimes you got to use it against them.
And it took 80 years for the conservatives to figure out the game.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.